send you to the wrong place. Oh, I'm across the street.
Yeah.
It's not across the street. It's right here. Right? So I passed the test, and I'm going to give you one. Here it is. Seriously, I made a couple of notes. Might be of interest, but I didn't know how many people know what's going on, so I just made 2 copies, one for me, one for you. If you like it, you can make copies for you. Okay. David asked me to come and speak to you about RF, about antennas, about transmission systems, about FCC part 15, and all kinds of stuff like that. Now, I haven't the thinnest idea really why I'm here, except that this guy asked me to come. And seriously, I don't exactly know what you guys are doing. I have some idea, but not really. But
Do you want to know?
well, maybe it's better if I don't. but I will when you ask me questions. The topic is a very large topic. And if we wanted to go through it, it would take 2 or 3 days and we might go through it. And we don't have that much time. So I decided that basically what I'll do is I'll go through some stuff, do it as fast as I can, and then I'll open the floor for either direct questions or suggested topics, and we'll cover whatever we can cover that is of use and interest to you. Because basically, well, I know I am a magnificent speaker and everybody loves me and you'll all be just, you won't be able to stop, but actually you're here for some practical matters, you will learn some stuff. Even if you tell me exactly what you do, it won't be enough to give you a very good idea in depth unless you spend half an hour doing it and a half. So I'm going to let you tell me what you do by way of your questions and your interest. I'll try to give you what you want and what you need to the degree that time permits. So that's kind of the schedule that I'm on. I do know you guys are doing stuff with RF. You connect with computers. You want to do it wireless. And you can be operating in one of the FCCs on licensed bands, 2.4 gigahertz, and stuff like that. And I think that's enough to kind of have a discussion. First thing is, what you're trying to do is to send information or messages from one place to another place. To send you information requires a change. It's impossible to send information unless you make some kind of a change. If you don't have a change, there's no information. So information is change. So you got to send some changes to it. Now, the stuff we send as changes is information, but we don't send it directly. We load it on the vehicle and we transport it from here to there. The purpose of the vehicle is only to bring information from point A to point B. After we got the information there, we take it off the vehicle can go on. It's a railroad car, it's a truck, it's an aeroplane, whatever it is. And the vehicle that moves it is called a carrier because it carries the information, okay? That's what a carrier is. It's a stuff, it's a thing that carries the information. By itself, it has no meaning except that it carries the information. But unlike trucks and so on, electronics, every carrier has its own right-of-way. You're gonna buy or pay a license or be authorized to use that right-of-way. It's like every time you send some stuff, it's a separate railroad train and it has its own railroad train. And that's the frequency. So you have to have a right to use those railroad tracks because if you don't, you have a crash. And you know what happens when you have a railroad crash? People get killed. In electronics, you get killed information-wise. You have interference, it destroys everything, and it destroys information. When the cars crash, they burn up, the information burns up, all the stuff that you were transporting gets destroyed. That's what interference is about. So you have to be operating in a certain right-of-way. Now, because each piece of carrier has to have its own right-of-way stuff, which is frequency space, is very expensive. It's precious because there isn't an infinite number of them. When one is being used for this, you can't use it for something else. And everybody wants a piece of the action. So there's a limited number of frequencies. And we keep going to higher and higher and higher and higher. the other frequencies are being used up. Pretty soon we get to very high frequencies. In your case, you're talking about 2.4 gigahertz, 2,400 megahertz, 2.4 times 10 to the 9 hertz. That's high frequency. This is microwave. Microwaves is beyond the gigahertz area. It's 300 megahertz area. So this is high frequency. Now there are some advantages to using high frequency because there's a relationship between frequency and the wavelength. How long the wavelength is. And when you multiply them together, you get the speed of light. So the wavelength gets smaller when the frequency gets higher. That's good because whatever stuff you build to operate at those frequencies, there are some multiples or sub-multiples of the wavelength. So if you had to operate at very low frequencies, you'd have to build antennas the size of this whole street. There are, for example, antennas that are made to transmit information to submarines. Water does not transmit high frequencies. Only very, very super, absolutely super low frequencies. And those antennas occupy many, many miles and acres of space that are laid out on the ground. Huge antenna forms all on the ground to transmit this ultra low frequency stuff to these submarines because you gotta have antennas that are a certain size compared to the frequency. That's a good way. In your case, if you're operating at 2.4 gigs, the antennas get to be pretty small. And all the components get to be pretty small, which is nice. It's easier to build. But it gets to be very tricky because there's no such thing as a short. There's no such thing as a piece of wire. There's no such thing as a line. There's no such thing as a resistor or a capacitor or anything. There's only transmission lines. Because everything connects everything else are coupled together. And the waves talk to each other. And if you get interference, you get nothing. You just get destruction. And you have to have it built the right way for reinforcement and so on. There's a whole bunch of stuff called RF and microwave electronics. But this is why you're using RFs and microwaves. One, to make them very slow. And two, because you got to get to a place where you can have a piece of the action, a piece of the right of way to transmit this stuff. Okay? Now, so you have this carrier. A carrier is a sine wave. That's all it is. It's just a sine wave. That's the carrier that carries the stuff. The way we put the information on the carrier is called modulation. Modulation is simply the method of taking the material you want to ship, your pizzas that you put into the truck, okay? You put them on a dolly and you carry them over and you bring them up, you put them in a container, you put them on the truck, okay? That's called modulation. That's how you put the information on the carrier. Modulation is simply putting the information on the carrier. When it gets to wherever it's going, you have to take it off the carrier. And it has a very fancy name, which is obvious, demodulation. Demodulation means remove from the carrier, modulation, put it on the carrier. After you demodulate, you don't care what happens to the carrier. That truck can go to something else, all right? So modulation is demodulation. That's all it is for the information in the carrier. Now, the information that you put on the carrier is a message, something you want to transmit. It could be my voice, it could be music, it could be data, it could be any kind of stuff. Whatever it is you want to send, you send it. Now, the information always contains changes. If I stood here for the next 2 hours doing this,